What's up, everybody? Let me take my glasses off. What's up,
Yeah,
everybody?
yeah.
It's the Way Left Podcast. I be your co-host, Kevin K. Dog Phillips. That be my co-host.
Wayne Burt Bell. That's I, the 85er. Always live.
I ain't even gonna do today's math.
Nah. Not behind that. No, you don't do it behind that. Today's mathematics
Pardon
B.
my mug.
All right.
The T is for my voice because I caught the flu. Really bad flu.
Yes.
Caused my tonsils and uvula to swell and block my air passage.
Oof.
So I'm now drinking moringa tea to help with the voice, and which comes from where we know where it comes from. Where do all good things come from?
Moringa.
It comes from Africa. No, it doesn't come from moringa. It comes from Africa.
Come from moringa, man.
The plant.
Moringa, South Africa. Yeah, see?
All right. You can't see my boots, but
right.
You see my boots, and I don't have no braids either.
So wait a minute. So you almost like Professor Griffin.
Yeah, I'm Professor Griffin it right now. Boots and beads, bags and braids, sticks and stones, razor shades.
Shades.
I'm going to keep my shades on because just so everybody understand, this video is to introduce a series of clips that we're going to put on in discussing the reparations conversation. We already dropped, let me take my glasses off. We already dropped, I don't know, a handful of 4 to 5 minute long clips and in about 4 parts discussing reparations, the conversation you and me had about a week ago. I want to put all those together. We talked about this. We want to put all those together on one long video so everybody could watch. But to try to make sense of that, because you're going to watch it and say, I don't get what's going on right now. It's just a bunch of clips. We're going to introduce those clips, not individually. We're just going to talk for about 5 minutes, and then the next voice you hear will be us again, only this time it'll be clips of that conversation that went over the course of 2 days. Now, I'm putting my glasses on, and I'm going to give my co-host the floor, and as long as my glasses are on, I won't speak. I say Black people deserve, require, and need reparations for the treatment we've received in America. I also say we will probably never receive such or said reparations. You say,
hell with it.
We don't need, or you don't want, or I don't really know what your argument is. So
no, it's really no argument. It's really a feeling like, yo, look, get it? It'll be a nice jolt for the whole congregation of us, but it's not needed. It just looks more like it will be portrayed as a handout. Even though you don't care about that, as long as you get the money, it's all good, but it's a handout. I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't think we need it. We need some fixing. We need some real social, internal family structure fixing. Each household, each human that's Black just needs, because that's what we're talking about, needs some fixing before we even think about that, because we wouldn't even need the money. If we fix ourselves, we don't need it. We're good. We'll be good. You know what I mean? We man, look, man, we got some shit going on. We just don't we don't mess with each other like that. I'm speaking up north. Down south is a totally different animal. Y'all move a little different down there, which is a beautiful thing. Wish it was up here. It was like that up here. But everybody from up here ran down there. So up here, from what I'm seeing, we don't really fuck with each other, man. And we just don't need the money. We need so much other shit as far as households. You go through the households of each individual up north here. We're good. Don't get me wrong. We're good. But we ain't solid. The barbershops are taking a hit. people are leaving. I mean, because of the money. It's difficult to live up here, to be honest. With all fairness. But besides all of that, we were tight and don't need that fucking. We don't. I don't think we need that goddamn money, man. We need so much more than that. You know. But you gave some good points. Hey, I love it. I like it. I encourage it. I don't want it.
What I
I'll
truly
respect
believe for
that.
reparations, 45 minutes later, my argument for reparations is I'm not going to make the argument. I think the clips will make the argument for me. But what I will say is that I want black people to be associated with an industry the same way everybody else is. You pick whatever industry. I don't really care which one. Most people suggest the black hair care industry should be controlled by black.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't disagree with that necessarily, but whatever the industry is, that a form of reparations would, to me, would be the development of an industry, a full industry, where you control the manufacturing, warehousing, shipment, distribution, marketing, and retail of a product. You have jobs, and I mean, you have labor jobs, you have executive jobs. It's publicly traded, so you have a board of directors, you have CEOs, CFOs. Um, Depends on the industry you're talking about, but industries go, nationwide in this country. I don't care what you're talking about. It's going to be a national thing. Revlon is national. Suave is national. And there's pieces of it all over the country. If you wanted to, you could work for Suave and you wouldn't have to go very far. And I don't give a shit where you live. So that would be the solution to me. It wouldn't be, and I don't respect this word. I don't agree with this word, but it wouldn't be a handout, as some people call it. You would have control of an industry. Now, the problem I would have is that these resources would be unevenly divided. The CEO would get this, and the guy who's cleaning up the warehouse would get this, and that's not really fair or balanced or anything else. So it would have to be a co-op. It'd have to be a cooperative industry where everybody has shares and everybody, you could just call it profit sharing. Everybody has a profit share, and the profit share would be X percent. So no matter what you do, you enjoy a profit share percentage that comes to you. And that would be I think that's the best we can hope for, um, in terms of making black people whole. It's not going to come from reparations. I think we all understand that. The case is there, but in all likelihood, it's not going to. But just to put a bow on this whole thing, we should be paid reparations. We're owed reparations. I don't think reparations are slavery reparations. I think they are black condition reparations. These reparations would not be for slavery. They would be for slavery, Jim Crow, segregation, mass incarceration. Until you stop. Because this idea of just leave me alone, they haven't left you alone since you've been here. You have not been left alone for 1 second. All they do is fuck with you. So leave me alone so I can make my bread like Ish safe. Fucking, I can't say,
Wow.
but I can say fuck you. And I'm talking
Yeah.
fucking, oh my God, he pisses me off. Anyway,
Breathe. 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 You can see the veins in your head, bro.
yeah, I know, I'm getting mad. Okay, so I don't care that there's no living white person responsible for slavery. You've earned through slavery. I don't care if you didn't do it. I don't care if I wasn't a slave. I don't care. It's that you did, because this is what Mitch McConnell said. Mitch McConnell said, reparations wouldn't be appropriate. No American living today bears any responsibility. Blah blah blah. Blah. We've worked hard to right the original sin of slavery, and what's the other thing he said? We elected a black president. We
Wow.
fought the Civil War. And I was like, who the fuck? First of all, who the fuck is we? See, here's the irony, and this is why this whole just leave us alone is it just falls fucking flat. Because it's not us when it was slavery. It's us when it's the Civil War. We didn't do slavery, we fought in the Civil War. We didn't do slavery, we elected Obama. You didn't vote for Obama, motherfucker, so what are you talking about? You don't take credit for electing Obama. We, Emancipation Proclamation, they had slavery. We fought in the Civil War, they had slavery. We liberated ourselves from the Brits. They take the credit for that. Oh, we Americans, we don't, these colors don't run. They love that one. I gotta say, that's a pretty good one. I wish I had a goddamn flag. I wish I had a flag I could be proud of. These colors don't run. America. Yeah, America. But me, slaves? No, I never had slaves. No, I just kicked the shit out of the British and liberated us. America. My God, I need to fucking throw something. You fucking, before we go. Because we're going to stop the video and restart the video so we can talk about incels of all things. This is our introduction to the slavery reparation conversation, part 42.
Oh,
Reparations,
slave reparations.
or black reparations, or Nubian reparations, or whatever you want to call them. So I have my views. I think
Okay.
if you've been watching, you could probably make a pretty good guess where I'm at with it. And if you've been watching, you probably have no idea what that motherfucker over there is thinking. So go ahead.
Oh man. All right. Do we need reparations? No. No. No.
Okay. Do you
No.
mean we don't need reparations, or we won't get reparations?
Both. We don't need them, and we shouldn't want it. Because anything they give to us is going to have something tied on the back end of it, some way, somehow, and I don't want it. I want to be left the fuck alone. Give us some tax incentives or something like that, owning a business or something. You know what I mean? That would be more so something. But now, if you're not owning a business, then what? Well, it may give you some incentives to go get a business. I don't think we need reparations. You know what I mean? And if you have a white woman or something like that, I don't think you should get reparations. No. If you got a white woman in your life, you should not get. If y'all biracial, y'all ain't getting reparations. Nope. Nope.
Some people would say, if
You
you got a
should
white
get
woman, you already got reparations.
No, you don't. No, nope. I ain't benefiting from nobody's whiteness at all. No benefits. You get more
You might be
stares
suffering.
you get more stares than anything else, man.
That's a reparation. If white people said, okay, Durham, North Carolina, that's y'all's. All the infrastructure, all the business, all the everything, all the housing, all the everything. It's about $500 billion here, and it's all yours. We're leaving. That's reparation. You can walk away. This is the first Black Wall Street in the United States of America, right here in Durham, North Carolina.
No doubt.
If you decided
How did that work out?
a reparation plan for black people would be, let's restore, or not even restore, let's just unass Durham, North Carolina. We'll follow that up with Tulsa, Oklahoma. We'll follow that up with Rosewood. We'll follow that up with Pensacola. We'll follow that up with Saratoga. We'll follow that up with West Philadelphia. We'll follow that up with Central Park. See, these are the places where we occupied and then they committed the atrocities. Destroyed, burned, and whatever else that they did. right? We're going to give all that to you. All the everything is yours now. Reparations, right? Okay. That's one way of going about it. But if you don't do that and you don't make this payment, what is every other group that had to suffer these things? How did they heal themselves? How did they fix themselves? They haven't. The Jews are solvent. They are whole. Completely made whole by what? Reparation payments, land holdings. They weren't given affirmative action. Affirmative action is not reparations. Affirmative action is something to try to eliminate discriminatory practices. That's an anti-discrimination bill. Has nothing to do with reparations.
Oh yeah, we know
Jews
it's
weren't
bullshit.
given that.
No, it's bullshit. Right,
So
I get that.
I don't want free education. I don't want free housing.
Right.
I don't want 40 acres in a pool. I
Gotcha.
don't want tax credits. I don't want grants. I don't want tax credits. Everybody gets tax credits.
No. We talk.
Donald Trump famously said, Donald Trump is sitting on the stage saying, not paying my taxes makes me smart. That's what he said. It makes me smart. Now, what do those tax credits mean if he doesn't get the $300 million from his dad first?
Yes,
But-
sir.
Today, just like yesterday, I said most people probably have some idea where I land on reparations.
Yes.
And don't nobody have any fucking idea where you at with it.
Right.
They might
We
have
don't need it.
some thought.
We don't need it.
We don't need what?
We don't need the reparations. We don't need it.
Do you make a case for reparations? The first thing you have to talk about is, first of all, reparations would not be paid just for slavery, right? So you start there. But looking at slavery, the idea that slavery is only taught to us in its cruelty. We talk about the cruelty, we talk about the immorality, and we don't talk about the economics of it. Nobody ever talks about the economics of slavery. The economics of slavery created everything that you see here. All the money, all the wealth, all the infrastructure, all of it was created. And by the way, we didn't just pick cotton, but if you want to take the cotton example, tons upon tons, this is literal, tons upon tons upon tons. There was an analysis done that the average slave picked over 2 tons of cotton in their lifetime. If you pick up a ball of cotton, it weighs virtually nothing. A ton of it is 2,000 pounds. Can you imagine you understand what 2,000 pounds of cotton must look like? The size and scale of 2,000 pounds of cotton, when you got a bag of cotton in your bathroom right now that weighs nothing. It is sold by the gram, it's sold by the ounce, it's sold by percentages of an ounce. You can't buy a pound of cotton. You don't need a pound of cotton. So, that being said, the economics of that alone, if you taught slavery as an economic wrong, you have a case for slavery reparations. If you say beyond that, just look at the number of atrocities committed by the U.S. citizen under the laws of the federal government, the U.S. federal government. Acting under the law, I'm able to transport, buy, trade, sell, work to death, maim, kill, slaughter, rape, breed human beings. I'm allowed to do that under the law. These atrocities alone is a case for slave reparations. You take that a step further and you go into the look at the steps. Look at slavery, followed by Jim Crow, followed by segregation, followed by, you want to say that the Civil Rights Bill, blah, 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 whatever. Follow that up with mass incarceration. You have a case for reparations going all the way up to 1980. I don't have to go back to pre-Civil War. There's a case for reparations just based on the drug war that you put upon us. I don't even have to go back that far. There's a case to be made for that. The Japanese, after World War II, were placed in internment camps right here in America. They were paid reparations for basically what amounted to mass incarceration. They mass incarcerated the Japanese. And then when the smoke cleared and the dust settled, they said, damn, that was really fucked up. And they paid them. They gave them restitution.
How much?
They paid them reparations for mass incarceration. You ain't been paid shit for the mass incarceration we suffered from 1980 all the way up to damn near the present day.
If they give us that, man, it'd be more ammo for everything else out there. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. No. Give us some tax incentives. Something.
But why wouldn't that also be a conversation? Why wouldn't the narrative just switch from they got all this free money to they get these tax breaks?
Well, the Indians getting tax breaks as we speak.
But the Indians are solvent. They have their reservations where they don't pay taxes. They're not under U.S. law.
No.
They fall under
Not
federal
those
laws
Indians.
and such.
Not those Indians. I'm talking about that Indian. Not those.
All right. Well, we ain't gonna make the Jay-Z mistake. We ain't gonna make that same mistake Jay-Z made.
Red dot or feather.
Just said we wasn't gonna make that mistake, and yet here we are.
Yeah.
So,
what tribe you from? Red dot or feather? And we talking about red dot. They get tax
but
incentives.
okay, so all right, describe those incentives.
Well, from what I've heard from them, if they own a business, they get tax incentives for at least 4 to 5 years. That's why each of the stores that they own, they change hands. Because the next one get the 5 years, the next one get the 5 years, the next one get the 5 years. That's how that goes.
But how do I know that that's just not a simple business tax exemption?
No problem.
Right?
Cool. Now
Because-
let you do it. You're not going to get it.
Well, I did it though.
Yeah, you did it. Did you get a good night?
Because your first year, so your first year of business, you're expected to operate at a loss, right? You're not solvent yet. So if I own the business, my first year, everything is written off, everything, because it's all loss, right? Now, if I hand that off to somebody else, same thing, right? That transference, I'm transferring debt to you. It's a business asset, but it also comes with a tremendous amount of debt. I pass that on to you. You can then extend that credit for another year, and so on and so on and so on. Now, some tax attorney might say, he might poke holes in that theory, right? Mm-hmm. And say, well, that would only be true if such, so forth, so on and so on. But at its base, just from just in layman's terms, right? Just from a layman's point of view, in theory, yeah, you can do that because you are operating in debt. Right. Year 2, you're expected to be operating with some profit margin. There should be some margin where your business can at least pay for its own existence, right? It pays for itself.
Right.
So you no longer put any of your earnings into the business. The business pays its own rent, pays the employees, it pays for everything.
Right.
And then year 3, of course, you can start paying yourself from that business, right? Now you have to also prove that. Because you can start a service business where you're just providing a service with very little no overhead at all, and immediately start operating with profit.
Let's keep it on stores, like little corner stores, the Indian bodegas now, as we call them. Let's start with that.
Yeah, the bodega. So
all of them are in it. They got the hotels and the bodegas. Not really nothing else. Just.
But this isn't really a form of reparations. This is just.
No, it's not a form of reparations.
Some people would say it's just good business practice.
No, definitely good business practice. But what I'm saying to you is that you giving jokers a whole bunch of money or whatever like that to do what they no. Maybe some tax. Kids go to college for free. Something other than giving us a whole bunch of money. I don't think you should give a bunch of money. Man.
Well,
I don't think so. Because we don't even know.
I don't know.
Do with them. I mean, you think they should? You think so?
I think they should. I don't think they will. I think
No.
I think reparations.
We know that. We just talking pure hypothetically. If
But-
they gave the money or willing to give the money.
Yeah, if they did, I mean, look, Dr. William Sandy Darty, that's his name, Darty,
Right.
would obviously disagree with you. He's an advocate for paid reparations to
Right.
all African Americans who fit a certain criteria, and the criteria is pretty broad, right? And his number that he has come up with is roughly $800,000 per African American, right? So it's 800,000 to the wife, 800,000 to the husband, 800,000 to the children that were created. That money is held into a trust until they come of age, and then they can walk out the door with $800,000 in paid cash, right? Mm-hmm. Now, he argues against the idea of education, small business development. He argues against the case of savings and the predicament that we put ourselves in. I am in agreement with all of those things. The only one I can't fully agree with is small business ownership, because I think that is the only real path forward. So while I agree small business incentives won't meet
a certain criteria, you feel?
I'm struggling with that, but yeah, if you listen to him, he's right. So it doesn't meet the moment to say, here's incentives for you to open up small businesses, right? But I believe that is the only real legitimate path that we have, because it is outside of the control of the federal government. He says that the federal government is wholly responsible for this, and so the federal government should be the one to pay the bill. Who created the problem in which I am necessitated as the U.S. government to pay these reparations? I am. I wrote the laws. From 1776 on, I said slavery perfectly fine. Don't worry about it. You're within your rights to encapture, slave, work, maim, murder, kill, rape, produce, reproduce, sell, inherit people.
Right.
So I created the problem. I then am responsible for fixing the problem. The people who are victimized by my deeds are in no way responsible for repairing any of this. Right. So if you are somebody who is wayward, who is just a mess of a human being, first of all, we can trace that back to my deeds. So I'm responsible for your condition, and you are in no way responsible for healing that condition, lest I give you this money first. I don't. You have to clean yourself up before I give you the money. I'm in this situation because of the actions that you did. Well, even still, that's not. There's no justice there. There's no fairness there. Reparations is justice. It's about fairness. It's not about whether or not Pookie is responsible with the money. It's irrelevant. So you can look at the Dave Chappelle skit and say, yeah, that's funny, and yeah, he has a point, but he doesn't have a point. He's making a joke. This is a consumer-based economy. You just can't give black people all this money, and they had all this crazy shit. So a black dude became the richest man in America because of a hot hand in a dice game. That's hilarious. But if you're going to glean from that, that is what the outcome would be should we pay black people reparations. You're insane for even thinking this, and B, it is irrelevant. Doesn't matter. So Clinton says, I'm sorry for slavery, and everybody's okay now. Like that's done. Well, no. Admit to the atrocities, yes, of course. But then you have to follow that up with restitution. The same restitution that you paid to everybody else. 9/11 victims got restitution for something that the U.S. government didn't even participate in. Truthers. So, whether they did or they didn't, we wrote a check to 9/11 victims. Jon Stewart went to Congress to advocate for the first responders to the 9/11 attack and got them paid handsomely. Deservedly, yes. They responded to the crisis. They got asbestos, emphysema, and the other lung that you get from asbestos. I forget the type of cancer it is. It's a lung cancer that you get. Mesothelioma. This is what they walked away with when they were done with their work at Ground Zero. They paid them based upon future earning potential. So if you were in the tower and you were an investment banker and you died in the tower, your family was paid X. And if you were a janitor, your family was paid Y. So restitution was made to the victims of 9/11 and their families for crimes that the U.S. government, they themselves did not even commit. So you make this restitution to black people under the qualifications that Dr. Doherty speaks about.
Right.
And he lays that out, and you can watch that, listen to it for yourself. And then you have a settled account. Black people then have to say, our account with you is settled. No different than if I go on a robbing spree and I'm breaking into homes and I'm caught, I have to make restitution to all the families that I robbed. I have to acknowledge that I broke in, I have to make that restitution, and when my probationary period is over, my account is settled. I don't have to then continue to make payments or hear from these victims anymore or anything else. If I am bothered by the victims of those people that I robbed, I can file a complaint. I can request a restraining order. Leave me the fuck alone. I robbed you, yes. I was caught. I did my time. I paid you restitution. Case closed. Account settled. So leave me the fuck alone. Now, if I return from probation after selling the account and decide I'm going to go get that money back, and I rob them houses again, guess what? I'm right back where I started. Back on the run, getting caught, back to jail, back to paying restitution. It's going to start all over again. So the idea that I'm going to pay black people this money and then I'm going to grab it all back, well, then you will owe me restitution again. You can't see, The analysis that they're going to have backlash. They're going to do this. They're going to take the money back. They're going to do sneaky this, that. All well and good. You want to believe that? Not you personally, but you, the world. If any of you want to believe that, that's fine. But I believe it to be a sad state of affairs when you can't conceive of victory. When you can't even conceive of the idea of victory, I find that to be a sad state of affair.
Oh, no way.
I have little concern about the backlash that would come from it because you already get that from whites. You
Right.
already get backlash in terms of you all get subsidized housing, subsidized food.
Right.
The HBCUs are subsidized. There's subsidized. There's subsidies everywhere at every corner for African Americans. Sounds like reparations to me. So you have that. You have DEI's hires. Sounds like reparations to me. You have affirmative action. Sounds like reparations to me. You can go on and on and on and on down the list. And there are white Americans who believe with this narrative. There are African Americans who believe in this narrative.
Right.
I don't believe any of those things are reparations because they're enjoyed by Americans,
Right.
not African Americans.
Right.
They are shared by African Americans with the rest of the country. Or you could even put that in reverse. They're shared with white Americans, with African Americans in the American society. So those are not reparations.
Right.
Jews do not share Israel with anybody.
Right.
Check the news. Their reparations belong to them. It is whole. It is theirs. It is a state. Case closed. End of. 46% of Americans work for small businesses. Well, if those small businesses are owned by Jews, Italians, Irish, Asians, and Latinos, and they have no use for you, who do you work for? You have removed yourself from what 46% of the U.S. population is doing. Reparations solves that. We're idle. We're idle because Latinos have no use for us. Asians have no use for us. And these populations are growing en masse. And they're opening businesses as they go. And they have no use for us. White Americans have some use for us. And their laws make it so that they have to at least placate to us to a certain degree so that we can enjoy some amount of employment. But African Americans find themselves mostly working in the public sector. And so when you have somebody like a Donald Trump, and fuck Donald Trump, but if you have somebody like that who wants to cut, those cuts not only reduce services given by the government, they also reduce jobs and employment. And who's mostly affected by that? We are. And so the U.S. government no longer has any use for us. And so where are you to work? You have to work the same way everybody else does. 46% of Americans work for small businesses. Well, if those small businesses are owned by Jews, Italians, Irish, Asians, and Latinos, and they have no use for you, who do you work for? You have removed yourself from what 46% of the U.S. population is doing. Reparations solves that. $800,000 in every single pocket allows you to
is
open
it 80?
businesses,
Hold on.
buy
Is it
homes,
80 or
send your kids to
800,000?
school.
You said
It's
800,000?
800,000.
800,000.
Darty's number is 800,000. That's not my number. That's his number.
80,000.
I don't
sounds
have a
better.
number.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have one.
I don't necessarily have a number because I haven't done the work that he's done. But his goal, if you listen to him, his goal is to eliminate the white-black wealth gap. And his analysis shows him that 800, I think it's actually 850,000, is the only way to eliminate the black-white wealth gap. You are not going to close that gap in any other way. And it's really a chasm. It's not even a gap at this point. If you look at some of the numbers that he spews, where you're talking about the median household income for a college educated black is significantly less than the median income for a white who never finished high school. There's a reason for that. And the only thing you can conclude, if you are to look at these numbers, where blacks are at the bottom of everything, is one of two things. Either the black man is truly inferior to this magical white man, or there is a system in place and has been in place for a long, very long time that necessitates these outcomes. They create the outcomes because there's a system in place that cannot produce anything other than these outcomes. And you are powerless to resist. These are the only two conclusions you can draw. So either I'm inferior or I'm up against a system that I can't beat. Which do you believe? And therein lies the question. And so if your answer is you're inferior, so be it. If your answer is there's a system in place, what say you to defend and beat that system? Because I believe African Americans need a system, an apparatus, is something to defend itself against the things that will harm you. Story.
48.3 million of us and climbing. Times that by 80,000.
Times that by 800,000. It's about $14 trillion. It works out to about 14 trillion. This is not something that's going to happen. So let me argue with you for a second. Since it's not going to happen.
Right.
And I think we all agree on that.
Right. Definitely.
My approach has always been small black business ownership to fix the problem, because that is in the hands of
I'm with you with that.
African
No,
people.
there's no argument there. I'm with you with that.
So
I'm with you with that.
I'll argue for you or side with you. I can side with you on this.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm with you with that.
But again, it would require the black bourgeoisie to begin sponsoring African Americans in their business endeavors, because VC capital does not flow our way. Bank loans don't flow our way. Home ownership is not something we have, so we don't have equity to pull out of the houses to invest in businesses. Okay, so these things narrowly escape us, and it's going to take investment from the excess that some African Americans enjoy to make this happen. Oprah Winfrey is going to have to open a grocery store and walk. Jay-Z is going to have to open a flea market just like the one you have in Baltimore. It's called Livingston. Right? You walk into the Livingston Mall in Baltimore, it's just a big old flea market. Little shops everywhere. You build one of those, or you buy a building, and you create one of those, and you say, you guys can do whatever you want. Do what you want. I'm out. I'm Jay-Z. I don't need the money. And you build that and you walk. You build nightclubs and you walk. You build event halls and venues. You build coffee shops and you walk. Jump on the Black and Bold coffee bandwagon and start opening those up next to Starbucks. And then walk. Open up 50 of them and walk. You don't need the money. So this is one way that we can move this needle for black people. Black people will enjoy more employment opportunities, more investment opportunities, high earnings, high wages, and the idleness of our hands will cease to be so much of a thing.